What's going on, guys? Matt from TDE. I'm here to show you my Voiceless Voice Mitsurugi deck profile. I've enjoyed playing this deck. I think it's got a lot of good utility. You're able to put up a lot of negates. I prefer it to that of the Voiceless Ryziel. I just felt like with that deck, I could be pretty competitive against the meta, and anytime I went up against Rogue, that deck really struggled. I don't know why, but that is just what I found. Though I feel like that deck is consistent, I feel like this deck is just ultimately stronger. So I guess it might depend on playstyle. I also just can't force myself to play the rank 4 toolbox after so many years of playing Tellarknight. So without any further ado, I'll get into the deck profile and explain a little bit why I'm playing what I'm playing. So to start off, obviously we're playing 3 copies of Low. Pretty standard stuff. Low is your one of 2 normal summons that you ideally want to get into while playing this deck. Sets up your whole Voiceless combo. It's full tribute for a light warrior or dragon ritual monster. Comes back and then sets up your negate with Skull Guardian. So 3 copies of Low. Then I'm playing 3 copies of Saphira. This used to be at 2, but now playing it at 3, just because we're playing 2 different engines. We want to see this card so that we can get those combos going and start dumping stuff. This card, while playing it at 2, I was playing 2 ritual spells before. You'll see later on that has changed as well. But because we're playing the Mitsurugi ritual spells, being able to dump a Mitsurugi ritual, if you open Kusanagi and Saphira in hand, means you're going to be able to get it back some way with the Kusanagi. So that is a really cool application of this. And furthermore, the ritual monsters for Voiceless that I'm playing these are the ratios. I'm playing 2 of these. I've seen some people drop this to 1. I just don't agree. I think being able to summon this back off of the Prayers of the Voiceless is extremely good. And playing this for the targeting negation, but also because we're trying to get this out for that inherent summon negation. Because it's this is just honestly a crazy effect, and it banishes for the Malice monsters. This will stop their inherent summon effect, or sorry, their inherent summon and banish them. And so unless they go into like Cryptor, they can't get those monsters back because they weren't summoned properly. So this is insane. This card is just honestly cracked, and it's not once per turn. So you can summon this out, and then if you do have Blessing on the field, you can actually get it out again if they summon something again. So honestly pretty insane. Then last of the Voiceless Voice monsters, we're playing 1 Cerberus. Like I said before, we can dump the Mitsurugi Ritual or the Mitsurugi Mirror and shuffle them back in with this. So it's just another way to get another body out, which will let you go into some of the extra decks. And if you're not able to get Blessing out in order to set up the Cerberus Inherent Summon Negate, this will get you into Cerberus and at least have him out there for a turn. You can even do this. They activate something, you summon Cerberus off of it, and then Cerberus, you can negate an inherent summon, and if you do have Blessing out, you can summon that Cerberus again, like I was saying before, and then have another inherent summon negate. So very powerful. Moving on to the Voiceless Voice spells, we're playing through Barrier, pretty standard. This is a Searcher. This stops targeting against light monsters and forces them to attack ritual monsters. 1 copy of Prayers of the Voiceless Voice. This gets really confusing because there's Mitsurugi Ritual, there's Mitsurugi Prayers, and there's Prayers of the Voiceless, which is the ritual spell. Whatever. But we're playing 1 copy. Drop this down from 2 to 1. Because we're playing the other engine, we just don't have enough room. We only need 1 of these because we can recycle it with the Old Man. And we're not usually using this to hard ritual summon. We only do that if we kind of open this and have a weird hand. But we can add it back with the Blessing. Of course, if Blessing gets interrupted, then we're a little pooched unless we can use Old Man to shuffle it back. Speaking of Blessing, here's 1 Blessing. Lets you ritual summon on your opponent's turn, or when you conduct a summon that's not a ritual summon, which can happen in this deck, obviously with your normal. I would also off of Mitsurugi prayers. So this card is just insane, being able to add back and being able to summon out rituals on your opponent's turn. On Radiance, because we like to pop, we have a lot of rituals on board. So, well, most cases we're going to get a pop too if we have Seravis and Skull Guardian out. But this card is also very underrated as a starter, or I should not say a starter, but as an extender. Depending on what you open with, you might want a normal low and go into this. Be able to shuffle something back. Let's say you open the Skull Guardian, shuffle something back, add Saphira to hand. So we shuffle back that Skull Guardian, add Saphira to hand, Saphira pitch the spell, and then add that same Skull Guardian back. So it's kind of free getting Saphira into the grave, which then sets up your ritual summon because you have low on board. So I think this card is pretty underrated. Obviously, you wouldn't have out the targeting protection, but if you have nothing else, that's still a way to get a negate on board. And depending what else you have on hand, that might be enough to extend you into a next turn, which then we dominate. So moving on, not right into the Mitsurugi engine, and these obviously aren't non-engine cards because they're very important to both engines, but these are what I call the bridge cards. So this is going to be Diviner. Diviner was being played with Trias Hierarchia before, and this is a similar approach to that, in that we're still sending Herald of the Arclight off of this instead of sending Trias. We're sending Herald, we're getting a search, and we're searching Miracle Raven. Miracle Raven then activates, tributes Diviner to summon itself, because Miracle Raven is unique in that it's a ritual monster, and because it's a pendulum, it's its own ritual spell. So merely activating this lets you tribute the Diviner, summon this, and summon Low. When you have this and Low out, you have two monsters that count as the full tribute for a ritual summon. The only difference is if you're using Prayers of the Voiceless Voice, you wouldn't be able to use this, but any other way you have the ritual summon Voiceless Voice monsters, including Saphira, including Blessing, you contribute this as full cost. In some cases, you may want to do that if you don't want to get rid of your Low as the thing and you want to bring Low back later. You might actually use this to summon Skull Guardian, and then you have a live negate. So also watching the number of summons, if they do have Nib or you know they're playing Nib or something like that, this allows you to play under Nib because you contribute that. You contribute the Miracle Raven, summon Skull Guardian, and then you have a live negate for when they try to activate Nib. So Diviner is actually very good because of this new card, and it's not as slow. I feel like when I used to play Diviner in the Voiceless Voice deck, if it ate a hand trap, it was pretty useless. But even if we just normal summon this, using this as a tribute and getting Low out is still very powerful now. And if we do open this and Diviner, even if this gets impermed, you can go Miracle Raven, tribute Diviner, and then get Low out that way. So that actually allows you to kind of play under Droll. So Miracle Raven, very good with Diviner. I only play it at one because you only really need one, and you don't really need to see it. Last of these kind of bridge cards that work for both engines is Pre-Prep. You can use this for any of the Voiceless Voice rituals to get you prayers, but also for Mitsurugi Mirror, which will get you either of the two Mitsurugi ritual monsters. So this is still pretty powerful, and you're able to play the 3 Saphira and the 3 Pre-Prep because you won't run out of targets. Moving on to the Mitsurugi stuff, we've got 3 copies of Habakiri. This card is insane, 1-card combo. It's a very good starter, and we're able to bridge into this card in a similar fashion that the Ryziel players can, as they, rank 4 King of the Feral Imps search this and then be able to extend into their Mitsurugi. We go Ashland 0-1000, and we can reveal a ritual monster in hand, add one with a different attribute and type, and then so if we have a light dragon or a light warrior, we can add this dark reptile to hand. So it's very good in terms of being able to bridge. You just need to have enough bodies to get into it. So same kind of Fiendsmith logic. Any 2 bodies gets you Moon. Any 2 bodies will get you Ashland, which then you can reveal to get you Habakiri. So pretty awesome. And this card is insane. We play 1 copy of Mirakumo. Obviously, Omni Negate, forcing your opponent to discard to resolve their effect. Also, it's a board wipe, and it reborns itself. So this card is pretty insane, and I feel like it's very. I enjoy the game state it creates by thinking where best to interact with your opponent, even if they choose to discard to negate. Playing with things like hand advantage, especially when you're playing a ritual deck, is very important. So I just love the design of this card, and it's very fun. For the rest of the Mitsurugi monsters, I'm playing one of each of the main deck ones. Not main deck, but effect monsters. We got one Saji, one Kusanagi, one Aramasa. I do side out Aramasa most commonly and just leave these two in. You can make an argument for Kusanagi, but I enjoy playing Kusanagi, being able to recur because we're sending things off of Saphira if need be. Obviously, tributing this off of the Habakiri. Another thing you can do is Habakiri tributes a monster you control, not just a reptile. So you can summon this off of Habakiri. It'll still get its effect to search for Mitsurugi Ritual. If you do have a diviner that got impermanent or something and you had no way to tribute it before, Habakiri will actually tribute that diviner and get you low. Low will get you a set or a placed face-up spell. So yeah, pretty insane. Then for the Mitsurugi spells, I'm playing one of each, so Ritual, Mirror, and Prayers. This is the best Ritual card ever printed. This is kind of like your Necros Cycle, Summons from the Grave, and this is obviously a Reborn as well as a Search, and lets you tribute. So using this on the opponent's turn to tribute the Murakumo and blow up their board. So honestly, these cards are insane. Mitsurugi is a really cool engine. It's great that we can play it now. For the hand traps of the deck, I am playing what I consider to be the highest impact ones, or the most utility ones. So I am playing 3 copies of Fulos. Don't need much explanation here. This is a turn ender in some cases, and if not, we're drawing into some maybe required engine pieces to extend. So Fulos, pretty crazy. Then we are playing 3 copies of Droll. Now, because we're playing limited hand traps, some people might say, why are you playing Fulos and Droll? Seems pretty counterintuitive. For me, honestly, if you resolve one of these things, I think you're in a pretty good spot. So if I'm going second, I will go Fulos first in most cases. And it depends on matchup, depends on their sequence, what combos they're doing. But I would usually go Fua, again, depending on the deck. And then if it's at a point where I feel like I've drawn enough things and they're at a critical point in their combo, then maybe you can go Droll after. But I usually like to hold Droll. I guess it really doesn't matter in sequence. It's always going to end up what your matchup is. Fulos is obviously deadly against Malice. That can be a total turn ender, or they might even take the challenge and just go full Malice combo, in which case you're going to draw into everything you need to crack their board. And if not, say we're playing against a Raizio Mitsu, this is going to finish them anyways. So I just find these lingering effects. Droll, honestly, I don't know how long we're going to have Droll, so playing it for now because Droll is just insane. And shout out to White Forest players who can't play through that. So then we're playing Ash. Now, it might not be the highest impact. We're stopping one thing once per turn, sure. But if we get Fulos, we can use Ash to stop their Fulos. So it works as a defensive card going first, as well as interaction to stop, something that's critical. It's tougher and tougher nowadays because so many decks have so much good extension and one-card starters that stopping one thing, like stopping one thing with Ash in a Malice deck, is not going to really impair their ability to go full combo. But you can stop, say, the White Binder from coming back, which might force them to end on a half board, maybe make Cryptor pass. So Ash I still think is really good, obviously, but probably not as powerful as it once was, but now it works as a defensive card too. So let's move on to the extra deck. For the extra deck, I am playing, first I'll show the Diviner targets. So obviously 2 Herald, that'll get our Search, that'll get us Miracle Raven, that'll get us any Mitsurugi or Voiceless card. So that's pretty insane. 1 Entis in case we're already in a good position and we can kind of use it as a board breaker instead of a Searcher. And then 1 Anima to get low into the grave. You can also use Miracle Raven. If you resolve this card, you're in a pretty good spot, but even just as a way to link up and a way to get low into the grave, it's pretty useful. Now, this is what makes these two engines splashable together. Ashline 1000. This card has a once per turn effect that you can reveal a ritual monster in your hand, and obviously, like I said before, add one with a different type and attribute. So that'll get you into your Habakiri, which will get you into your full Mitsu combo. It also has an effect, I think it's a little slept on. It's a brand new card, obviously, but when you ritual summon, you get to compulse a card. So it's not nothing, it's something. And combining that with blessing, meaning you're ritual summoning on your opponent's turn, which means you're doing a compulse on your opponent's turn, which is pretty powerful. It also lets ritual monsters at points to inflict piercing damage, which won't come up that much, won't really be a game breaker, but it's something to remember. We're playing 1 IP to get into SB for a little more interaction. We're playing 1 Lina because we can. It shouldn't come up too often, but we're also playing Dark for the same reason. If we're playing, say, some sort of mirror match, we can take stuff on their end and tribute it off, or I guess we wouldn't really want to do that. We can take Malice cards so that they can't extend, or at least force them to use their March Hares or their Pistiles. I don't know, maybe if you're playing a Blue Eyes player, you can steal their Sage or whatever it's called, Maiden. 2 Dynamundo, honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of this card just because of the way it was used in previous Voiceless decks, being able to get into that third placed spell or trap on your opponent's turn. But for that reason, I think it's kind of risky, and I have noticed a lot of people are playing Ghost Spell more often now, so I'm not completely sold on this card, but it is good in this deck because the Habakiri sometimes is just on field. It minuses your opponents by 800, but sometimes you might want to have a spin or a bounce is a little more effective than that. So honestly, this card is okay. I'm playing it at 2 because we don't really use the extra too much. I'm sure you could play something else. This could be a Moon Goddess or Access Code, just to go for game, but this is what I have, so this is what's in there. We're playing 1 BLS, again, lots of room in our extra, we're not using it too much. This card can be effective, but honestly, it feels kind of win more, but it was in one of my previous builds and I just kept it through. Chaos Angel, we can actually make this with Diviner and one of the Habakiri or Murakumo, so that's actually pretty powerful because it's going to get both of its effects, and this will become hard to deal with, plus we get the banish. And then Typhon. Typhon can be actually pretty effective against Detonator. It's non-auto lose card anymore, but Typhon's Typhon. So let's move into the side deck. And forgive me because I don't have foils in this deck. They're all in my Malice deck, so I'm just running with common. So we got the 3 Nibiru. Nib is Nib. Not too much to say about that, but it also triggers your own Mitsurugi effects because they're attributed, even Diviner as well. So 3 Lancia for the Malice matchup, 3 evenly, just matchup dependent. If you don't feel as though your hand traps are going to go all the way, or honestly just resolving this because we don't really need that first battle phase. Because we're playing such a control style, being able to evenly their board and then set up ours with limited interaction. If they don't have enough follow-up, they're not going to be able to crack the Mitsu Voiceless board, or even the Voiceless board if that's all you can set up. So I feel like evenly is pretty powerful. Then we have our 3 power spells for going first, cross out, called by, and triple tack. In most cases, I will leave Droll in. It's the one hand trap I don't side out going first, just because I think it's so disgusting. Its effect is just so powerful. So I'd side out Fulos, maybe put this in. We can also hit Ash Blossom. Not playing Imperm, so can't hit Imperms, but I just feel like it wasn't totally necessary to play Imperm because we have so many negates, and I didn't want to play over, say, 41. But if you're comfortable playing 44, I would put in Imperms. There's also a bunch of other options you could put in as well. You could even play these 3 in the main. Then I'm playing 3 Dim Barrier just because it's powerful. It can stop a lot of decks that might not have the ability to pivot. It's too bad it was printed before Lynx came out, because that would be insane into the Malice matchup. But even into Ryziel, you can stop them from either their Mitsu plays or their Ryziel plays. It's a little awkward against Fiendsmith, but in the most case, if you resolve this card, you're putting your opponent at least a skip one turn, in my opinion, in most cases. So that's why I choose to play it. But that'll do it for the profile, guys. I hope this has provided some insight into how effective this deck can be. If you have any suggestions or any comments on what you guys are doing with the deck now, I love the Voiceless Voice deck. I played Saphira way back in the day, and it's my favorite ritual monster. So any excuse I can have to play this deck, I will take it. And yeah, I hope you guys are having success with the deck. And yeah, subscribe to the channel. We got a lot of fun videos and projects we're working on that are coming up. We got some profiles coming for you and some matches where you can actually see this deck in action. So if you're interested in that, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you're liking the video, leaving comments, and letting us know how much you enjoy it. So without any further ado, thanks for checking it out.